Hey, how are you? Today we're going to make a pollinator crystal garden. And yes, we're making a pollinator garden because we all know that there's becoming a shortage of the pollinators in the world, and we all can do a little bit to help them grow and thrive and make it on their migrations. And so now fall is a nice time to make a pollinator garden because many of the butterflies are leaving the north and traveling south, and if they go past your area they might need a rest and a drink and get some minerals in their bodies. So we're going to make a pollinator garden today using things we found around the yard. And I just went out into our yard and picked up a few things that I can show you. Let me show you a little quick video of that little search through the yard. Okay, we're going to go out in the yard and try to find some natural type rocks or gravel that we can provide landing spaces for our pollinators in the pollinator garden. And we're also looking for some things that have a slight bit of sweetness or decay, because that's one of the ways that the animals get their minerals. Takes some flowers from one of our plants, and it gives a nice, pretty attractive signal that the pollinators should come there. I have a little fairy here among my sage plants. I think I'm going to bring that along and include that. And one of the things that we're looking for is a flat landing space on a natural stone. Limestone would be good, or most of the natural stones in your area are probably fine. We're just going to wash these up a little bit, and it makes it a nice solid place for a butterfly to land and rest when they're migrating. And then there's some here like river rocks that we have around our garden, and these provide a lot of minerals too because they're porous, and if you sit them in a little bit of water they will allow minerals to escape from the rock. From down among the tomato plants I find another nice rock with a flat surface, so we'll take that one along too. Alright, let's see if we can gather some more of the gravel type rocks. Look in this area, we have a lot of gravel and we want stuff that's kind of natural in the area, so we'll take small gravel like this. This keeps them from getting too deep into the water. So we'll take these in and wash them up too. And this is actually a weed. It's a vine, but I think it would decorate our garden nicely with some of these nice leaves. And they're broad leaves, so they might be a nice place for landing. And these can be changed out on a daily basis if they start to get wilted or don't look so nice. And also I have a handful of sand here. It came out from our yard, so we're going to take that in and use that as part of the garden too. Alright, I think we can go back in the house. I have maybe a couple pieces of fruit that I can add for some sweetness or decay that would attract them also. Okay, so when we come back in we have a ceramic plate. You can use a saucer from a terracotta pot or something like that. It's something that should hold water for you. We're going to leave this outside so the butterflies and bees and the pollinators that come through your area have a place to rest. I'm starting with a little bit of sand out of our yard. Now, we're not looking for real expensive ingredients here. We're looking for things that are from nature. what the butterflies need as they migrate or as they live in the summertime is to pick up minerals from rocks and different things that they find in nature. In fact, maybe you've already seen a butterfly land in a puddle and then other butterflies come. It's called puddling. They're picking up minerals from the dirt that comes up from having some moisture and water in the soil. And you'll see them sitting on rocks sometimes. Looks like they're sunning themselves. What they're doing is picking up minerals. Alright, so out in the yard, I found a few organic type things. Now, we want to have rocks that are flat because when they land, they want to rest. They're not good at standing on twigs and stuff to get their minerals. You can see this I took right out of our garden. It has a wet bottom and it's where the minerals are released. We're looking for things like sandstone or what's natural in your area. If they're really muddy, you can clean them up, but we're actually making a little arrangement here of things we found in the yard. Now we want some spots that are easy to stand on. You can build them a little bit, make them look pretty. And then you also want to have some that are gravelly. So I picked up some smaller gravel in our yard. Stones like this. I also have a nice river rock. There you can see how porous it is and that the minerals are easy to come out of a rock like this when it gets wet. So just arrange them like it's a flower arrangement. And I got some greens. I also brought in a flower out of the garden. I mean, these don't have to be beautiful flowers, but it attracts them. The butterflies and the bees are attracted to purples and pinks and colors like that. Well, it makes sense because nature has so many purple and pink flowers. And also the bees are attracted to yellows and oranges. So you should try to have some of that in there too because they need a rest and they need nutrition too. So let's get a little basis here of gravel. And if you find a few leaves along the way that are already decaying, you know what, that also provides some nutrition as they start to break down. So I brought some of those for this section. And then, you know, this is a weed that I found outside. I showed you that on the camera when I walked around. You know, this is something that just to keep your garden pretty and fresh, you can replace this every couple days. But again, it's organic matter that is going to bring some decay and break down some minerals in here. So just tuck a couple of those in. Alright, and you know, we talked about yellow. I got some flowers that are already starting to decay. And we're going to put a couple of these in here too. We want to get a little orange and yellows for the bees. And that will bring them in. Once they get down here, they'll be happy that they're here. I saved them. Okay, another thing, I like to use crystals in these gardens because crystals have very positive energy and they have different kinds of minerals as well. One giant crystal that I like to put in here is a rose quartz. And you can see this has lots of flat surfaces no matter how we lay it down that a butterfly can land on and rest during their migration. So we're going to slide that one in here. And then I have a couple others that I think are really nice for this. We have some carnelian. Now this is a carnelian that is kind of light colored. It has pinks and oranges in it usually. And a carnelian is good for giving you extra energy, and I think the butterflies would need some extra energy on their migration. We have an Amazonite tower. We'll put that in here for a pretty effect, but that also helps people maintain a positive attitude, and it probably has a positive energy for the butterflies and bees as well. Here again is the rose quartz I didn't mention, that's so helpful for love and heart. That's good for motivational reasons. We have some prehnite and we have some sunstone to bring in another of the orange and yellow. Okay, that's a great little pile of minerals and energy. They all have different mineral compounds, and when they get a little wet on the bottom, they have lots of nutrition. Now, another thing to help break down, I have some grapes that are kind of ready to throw out if it came to us eating them, so I'm going to split them open. Once the fruit starts to decay, the butterflies love to land. A real favorite, which I don't have in the house today, is a banana. If you have a banana that's getting a little soft and brown and you're ready to get rid of it or make banana bread, well, take a little piece and leave it there for the butterflies, because they come right for the bananas. And if you're having a little trouble getting them there to start, you could put a couple of Q-tips or cotton balls out there with some Gatorade on them. That's one of their favorite drinks. You lay some cotton balls around with Gatorade, they'll be eating out of your hand. Just have a little water here to rinse this off. I have a little fairy that I like to keep in my garden. You saw that out there amongst the sage. The fairy can sit in here too to provide some motivation to these little creatures. There, how's that? Alright, now I am going to take, well, when you add water to this, I just want you to be careful not to make it too deep, because the butterflies won't go in it if they're going to drown. But you can make areas that have like just moisture and areas that have a little more water. Now, I'm using a drink here that's an organic blueberry drink, but this is similar to the Gatorade idea. We just want to pour a little of that juice in here because it has a little bit of sweetness, and it'll attract them to come right here. Make sure you use crystals that are safe to put in water. Some crystals will fall apart if you put them in water, so if you're using some of your collection. Now, I also have a little more water here that I'll put in on the sandy side, just to keep that a little moist. We don't want it to be like a pool, just we want it to be wet. And you know, throughout the day this will start to dry a little bit. But here we go. This is where the minerals will start to come off the bottom of the rocks, and the flowers and the plant matter, and all the different minerals that come from these crystals and the positive energy make this welcoming pollinator rock garden with some of your crystals and rocks from your yard, and you'll give the pollinators that are on their migration for miles and miles a great place to stop and get their nutrition and get their minerals and get some motivation to make their journey. And all that makes a difference in saving the lives of the pollinators in the world. I hope you like this idea. Give it a try. You know, you can change it every couple days, or you can also, at the end of the season, at the end of the fall season, you can put these rocks and minerals away and get ready for the spring, and you can start all over again. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked this video.